It's the DORK podcast. It's the DORK podcast. It's Rich Keefe. It's the DORK podcast. Hashtag. It's the hashtag DORK podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Hashtag Dork. My name is Rich Keefe, joined as always by Davey Eyeballs. He is Razmataz Von Dazmataz. He is promo code Ron Von D. All hail the king of ginger ale. It's Ryan Davey. Davey, how are you?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great. I'm a little bit more aerodynamic, as you see.
You look great.
I feel great. It feels right.
Good.
Is the thing, you know?
Also, judging by your hat, you appear to be the mayor of Cream City.
The mayor of Cream City, which we'll touch upon a little bit later.
Ooh,
that's what we call a big market tease, but
snap.
There we
Ryan,
go.
we just had a very successful Hashtag Dorktober 5, a new beginning. I thought it went very well. We had some good episodes, including a brand new top 50 horror movie list as put together by the Hashtag Dork Shared Gooniverse. And I'll tell you what, the more I look at it, the more I love that list. That's a good list for people.
And it was one of those things where I mentioned this on the podcast, but it cannot be undersold that we all looked at the list and nobody bitched about it. It was like,
no,
that makes sense.
Funny. Mm-hmm.
That totally makes sense.
I like the list a lot because I think 5 is a good number when putting together a list like that, because there were definitely movies that both you and I would have left off that probably deserve to be on just because it's like our taste and whatever. But when you have a minimum, I think, of 5 people voting, you're going to get a good kind of varying degree of like gory, ghosts, old, new, everything else. So I like the list a lot. You can check it out in our archives. Also on Twitter, we were posting them throughout as well. But we go from Dorktober to Movember, Ryan.
We sure do.
A very, very important month for you.
It's a very important month for me. This whole month, I'll be raising money for Movember, which is a very important initiative for me. Dealing with all things related to men's health, so testicular and prostate cancer, as well as mental health initiatives, which I'm a big advocate for. So if you guys have the means, please. I know times are what they are right now, but I also know that it's now more important than ever that we, as our mostly male audience, checks in with themselves, take care of themselves, do what you can to be nice to people and be nice to yourself. You know?
Yes, that's a nice message. And if you go to Davey's Twitter account at rvond, he's got links and stuff, and so you can help him out if you can on there. And then in another month, it's hashtag Dorkmas. 25 days of Dorkmas.
The non-denominational Dorkmas.
Correct.
Yeah.
So get excited. We're ending the year with a bang.
With a bang.
Ryan, should we get to the news of the week?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Okay.
This week in DORK. Yeah.
Season 2 of The Mandalorian came out this past week, and Ryan, we ran a poll on our @Dork Podcast Twitter page, and we said, should we do a standalone episode for every individual episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian? And the results were pretty close, but the majority did say, no thanks, just save it for the end. And I really could have gone either way. I was split. I was like, I could do it every week, or I could not. So here's what we're going to do. How's this grab you? I think this is going to make everybody happy. We're not going to do a standalone episode until the very end of the season. However, we are going to do a little spoiler-free during This Week in Dork, and then at the end of the episode, maybe we'll do a little spoiler, a little taste of the spoiler action at the end. So if people haven't seen it or don't care, they can say goodbye. Or if they're interested, they can stick to the end, and we'll talk about our thoughts from the first episode.
I think that's good, because there's the people who want to know our thoughts on The Mandalorian, want to know it now. You know, they don't want to wait
now,
10 weeks or something like that to find out what we're going to do with The Mandalorian. So I'm excited for it. I think we'll just talk about it a little bit, maybe get some thoughts. And then, like you said, at the end, for those of you who stuck around, you can tune us out, or you can hear our thoughts.
Overall, it was the longest episode they have ever had. It was 54 minutes, although there's a good chunk of credits at the end. So it was really closer to like 50. But long episode. I thought good, but we will unpack it a little bit more later on. Ryan, SNL, back-to-back big weeks here. John Mulaney just hosted SNL this week. Then next week, it's going to be Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, which is back-to-back post-election, right?
Yes, it is.
Because the last one, Donald Trump became president, that Saturday was Dave Chappelle, and he gave one of the best monologues I've ever heard on Saturday Night Live.
I agree, and I think no matter what happens tomorrow night, I think Dave Chappelle is going to be the guy I want to hear from on the Saturday.
Absolutely. And did you hear that thing he did in his town where he lives in Ohio?
I
Did you
did.
hear that? It was a YouTube clip. I forget what it was called, but it was
I think it was about George Floyd,
yes.
and it was the title of it. This is a bad job out of me, but it was the amount of time that the cop had his knee on him.
Yes.
Was it 11:38? I forget. I
forget. I wasn't gonna say that. I knew it was the time, but I wasn't because
it was the time, but that was a powerful. I don't even know if you want to call it stand up, whatever it was. Just him talking to the crowd.
Yep.
And so I think it'll be pretty raw no matter what happens coming up on Saturday. That'll be Chappelle. Mulaney, meanwhile, I thought he had a good monologue. The stand ups do the best monologues on SNL just because they don't have to rely on some hacky, like, hey, come on up and sing a song or Q&A with the audience. They just do 10 good minutes.
10 good minutes. And then the Sleepy Hollow sketch I thought was very, very good.
Yeah.
You watched that, so it was good. It was not great, not my favorite, but it was good.
Yeah, I would say so. That's the fourth time Mulaney has done it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, 846 was the name of the Dave Chappelle, I guess special that you'd call it. Meanwhile, Chappelle's show on Netflix now.
On Netflix, I was going to bring that up.
Awesome.
I watched the entire first season yesterday.
It's so good.
It's so good.
And the one thing that drove me nuts is, and it's not like it had more commercials than other shows, but when you watch that show live when it was on, didn't it feel like it was always in commercial? They'd be like, because the skits went by so quickly because they were so funny. And then he's like, all right, I'll be right back. We'll be right back. So now that it's on Netflix, I'm just going to rip through this.
Oh, it was like the same when it was on DVD. Like it was so much better on DVD because like you said, they would do 1 3-minute sketch and then go to commercial. And they would come back and do like one quick hitter and go to commercial. So, I mean, I'd never thought of that.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right.
It is. And meanwhile, Rick and Morty is on HBO Max now. So if you have HBO Max, season 4, if you're looking for season 4. Right. The trailer came out for the Saved by the Bell reboot. This is coming to the Peacock network. Any interest in the Saved by the Bell reboot?
My initial reaction to watching this was like, oh my God, Saved by the Bell's coming back. And I could hear Goo go like, from like,
what's that? Him cream in his pants?
Oh, he was the mayor of Cream City that day.
Yeah, he was.
But
Saved by the Bell, I loved though. I loved Saved by the Bell.
Who was your girl on the show?
I mean, this is a basic bitch answer, but Kelly.
Of course. And then 10 years later, after seeing Showgirls, you were like, maybe you rewatch Saved by the Bell in the morning. Like, maybe Jesse's not so bad.
Kelly. Oh, yeah. No, nobody was bad. I was a big Lisa fan, too. But I am all about Kelly.
Kelly Kapowski.
It's funny because Zach and Kelly are both back. They're still married. Zach is the governor of California. And then Slater and Jesse both work for the school.
And she's the principal and he's the gym teacher, right?
No, he is the athletic director.
And one of the best parts, AC Slater in the trailer sits backwards on a chair and the kid goes, "Did you just sit backwards on a chair?"
Yeah, it's great.
It's like, I've never seen anyone do that. And I'm like, well, let me tell you something, son. Let me tell you something. You ever gotten naked to poop?
No.
Why would you? Right?
No. My respect. Yeah, why would you? It seems like a lot of extra time. But yeah, so they're the 4 of them are in it, which is no surprise. No Screech because he went off the deep end. No Lisa because unfortunately, Google Lisa. She's gone on some bad times.
She had a hit. Yeah, not
Mark
doing
Voorhees not going to be joining us at dinner.
No,
so that's too bad. But I think I might give it a little bit of a go. But I don't have big expectations for it.
I'll give it a rip. I mean, you love a good, maybe they'll introduce a TC Tugger in there.
They could use a TC Tugger.
AC's comes out of these like, it's not a joke.
It's not like a
snuggie.
You don't wear them on pub crawls or nothing. Ryan, this was some interesting, and I don't know if this has been confirmed 100% yet, but usually when these things, there's a lot of smoke around them, they end up being true. But eventually, Disney Plus, who apparently is like holding out all their content on us, we haven't gotten shit on Disney Plus, but for their show Moon Knight, which they're eventually going to be making, Oscar Isaac might play Moon Knight.
So this is his 3rd character in the MCU. Not technically the MCU, but his 3rd Marvel character, it would be.
Well, Apocalypse is, I guess,
not MCU,
but he wasn't. Yeah. What was the other one?
He was the voice of Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, right.
In Spider-Verse. So,
and Star Wars is actually a Marvel Comics property as well.
yeah.
So I think it'll be good. I didn't even think of him like as an option for that. But
I think he's a great actor. And, I think it's a wonderful choice. Keanu was attached to this for a little bit.
Yes. Yep.
Which could have worked too, but
I'm bummed out about this news, Ryan. Apparently there will not be a season 3 of Mindhunter. I love Mindhunter.
I really wanted to see where that was going to go. And I think it was David Fincher was talking about it. And he said, and he gave the best reason why there's probably not going to be a season 3, in that people like us love it, but I see why people don't. And he said it was a huge budget for a show that not a lot of people watched, which was the same.
It's like the Dork podcast.
It's exactly. And I think the same thing. You remember the HBO series Rome?
Yeah.
Which was really, really well done. Really, really cool. It just was so expensive to make that they just kind of canned it at the end.
I wonder why Mindhunter was so expensive to make.
I think
what the hell?
I mean, the production quality of it was excellent. I'm guessing like everything that goes into a little show like that, like you have different locations, actors' salaries, because that guy who what's his name, Jonathan Goff.
Oh yeah, the guy was in Hamilton.
His star is rising, so like he's probably asking for more money.
Yeah,
so
he's so good in that show too.
He's good in everything. He's unbelievable. He was the best part of Hamilton.
He was the only part I liked. You're right. Yeah, he's really good. But it's a shame because that show clearly didn't know they were going to be canceled. I mean, there's a chance, but they kept setting up the BTK killer in season 2.
Right.
And season 2 took place in like the early 80s, and BTK doesn't get arrested until like another 20 plus years. So you're like, all right, if you're teasing him, hopefully there's some sort of payoff. So my hope all along was you do a time jump in season 3 to like the late 80s, 90s.
Yep.
Another time jump in season 4 or even season 5, then you eventually get them. But then this way you can check in on some of the other serial killers like Jeffrey Dahmer and shit like along the way.
And what was crazy to me is they walked you through all of these serial killers who I was too young to remember.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of obscure ones too.
But I was following the BTK story the entire time it was unfolding.
Yeah.
That was a crazy story.
Fucking gross.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Nuts.
Ryan, Borat 2 or Borat subsequent movie film came out on Amazon a week ago. It was actually out while we were doing our podcast last week, but because we just did the top 50 horror, we didn't do a This Week in Dork or anything. And we made the executive decision not to do a standalone episode on Borat 2, despite Borat being one of the greatest comedies of all time, one of the great films of all time. Borat 2, good, not great.
Solid. And I think my ultimate decision to not have a standalone episode for Borat 2 was that the message of the movie was so divisive is the wrong word, but that movie took a stand. And we try to not do that as much as we, and I granted not to timestamp this episode, but there's a pretty big election tomorrow. And that's something people come listen to us to get away from that stuff. And we don't really like to delve into that. And this movie, like I said, for whatever you believe, whatever your leanings are, it definitely had a message.
Right.
And whether or not that was for you, we kind of want to stay away from that.
And it also wasn't as fun. I laughed, but I never, like, the first Borat I saw, I remember I saw it in the theater with Opie the Poet, and Opie's got one of those, like, infectious, loud laughs. And that's the whole movie. That's all we were doing. Like, he was dying. Like, we were both dying laughing. This movie, I, like, chuckled throughout, but I never like, cried, laughed. Never teared up once. It wasn't like, I think you should leave or something like that.
Yeah. I saw Borat in the theater with our boy, The Fridge.
Shout out,
and our friend Suzanne, who had no idea. She knew nothing about the movie, just knew that it was funny. And she sat between Fridge and I, and the two of us were howling, laughing. And she was just like
afraid,
laughing, but like, especially in the scene in the hotel when they're running, they're like him and Azamat are like chasing each other. By the way, poor Azamat.
Poor Azamat. Did not go well for him.
No.
As it turns out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there were some funny parts, and like especially if you're comparing it to horror comedy sequels, like it did pretty well.
It's very good. Yeah.
I don't think we would have had a lot really to discuss. Anyway, we would have been like, yeah, it was good.
It was good.
See it.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of how we feel about that. But let's introduce you to this, Ryan. This is the next portion of the show.
This is This Week in Horrible Rossi Takes.
How about this? Our friend Jason Rossi, he of the Pop Culture Pile Driver podcast, along with Billy D. He tweeted this out a week or so ago. Quote, never seen nor care to see Borat or Borat 2.
Why? Like, he tweeted out tonight. What's even more infuriating is if you look at his Twitter right now. I'm going to pull it up.
Oh my God. I don't know if I can.
This is the tweet of the night. Checking out Knock Knock on Netflix.
What is Knock Knock?
Who gives a shit? That's not the point. Like, who gives a flying shit what Knock Knock is? It's a film apparently from 2015.
Oh my God.
Starring Keanu Reeves, who's probably in it for like 10 minutes. And
but
Ana de Armas.
What an outrageous thing to say on the internet to people. He not only so if you haven't seen a movie, I typically am not going to shame somebody. Like there are things that come up, maybe you haven't seen it, or for whatever something slipped through the cracks and you haven't seen it. But Borat is one of the greatest comedy films of all time. And when did it come out? 2006? It's been out for a long ass time.
I was out of college when it came out.
But not only this, he's never seen it, nor does he care to see it. As
but
he
that's
points
like,
out.
why? Like, what
I
is
don't get it.
What flag are you trying to plant right now? That like you're like, oh, like what? Why are you dying on this hill?
I don't understand. I don't know why you wouldn't see that. Listen, Borat 2, maybe a little bit different, whatever. But the first Borat one, you haven't seen
crazy.
it.
Have I heard him now? Correct me if I'm wrong. Have I heard him say my wife? Have I heard him say that?
Good question. I don't know.
See, I don't know. But if he, of course, but like there's whether or not you think Sacha Baron Cohen is funny or smart or whatever, right? There's a cultural there's a cultural IQ that there's like a minimal cultural IQ that you need to have to be in this gang. Like if I quote a movie, you better fucking know what movie I'm quoting.
I know.
Because it's, you know what I mean? So
we should probably come up with a list. That could be our episode next week. Like the 10 or how many? 20 essential movies. Essential.
If you're going to listen to this podcast, there are 20 movies that you need to see.
And I think Borat's on that list.
Borat is on that list.
All right. I think we're doing Dork Essential movies next week.
Dork Essentials, Volume 1.
How many do we need? How many do you think?
25.
25 movies that you better have seen, or if you come across us, you better lie about having seen it. Big, yeah, I saw it, I just don't remember it. But you saw it, say you saw it, and then you go immediately go get it.
I'm already ripping off my list right now. There's a little bit of 80s action movies in there, so get ready.
There's gonna be some 80s action. There's gonna be that comic book flair, the horror flair.
Yes.
There's gonna be maybe some porno on there as well.
Maybe we do 5 a category. I don't know. You seen Pirates?
15 porno.
Not Pirates of the Caribbean, Pirates. And those who are in the know exactly what I'm talking about.
With Johnny Depp, it is not.
Not the one with Johnny Depp.
It is not.
You with me?
Yes. So
yes. That poor guy too. That sad sack.
That's the thing, though, man.
I have news. By the way, I was just reading this. Did you know?
Is this breaking news?
It's not breaking news because this actually came out 6 months ago. But we are nope.
It's not breaking
news. And
now,
we can't hashtag Dork breaking news flash.
Go ahead. Have some breaking news.
We are now, since it's Movember, we are 1 month away from Marvel retaining the rights to Daredevil.
Yeah, they gotta bring it to Disney Plus. However,
exactly. So Charlie Cox, the guy,
Cox.
There's on Twitter or his Instagram. It was on social media.
It's at Cox.
Yeah, there was a video of him sitting watching TV, and he reaches over and grabs the Daredevil helmet and put it back on.
Oh my God, gotta have it.
Just 1 month away from that, the rights reverting back to Disney.
Yeah,
Disney can put it on Disney Plus. So worst case, you get to watch the first 2 seasons of Daredevil. We can do it right now. Who gives a shit?
3 seasons. 3 seasons.
Yeah,
but Daredevil wouldn't be good on Disney Plus unless they went full out.
Well, it's no worse than The Mandalorian.
It's more graphic than The Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Some of those fights, like the Punisher, some of that stuff.
You can clean it up a little bit and still be good.
Mac wants to know if Busty Cops 2 is going to be on the essential movie list.
Is that a Skinamax flick? Because Bikini Car Wash 1 through 3 is on the list.
Can we use individual episodes of Red Shoe Diaries?
Is there Emmanuel in Space? Is that another one we could use?
That's good stuff. Anyway, so that's the Rossi horrible take. No surprise. Hasn't seen nor cares to see Borat or Borat 2. Just
fuck that take.
Classic Rossi. It is an F that take kind of take.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some video news or video game news.
It's time for Davey's video game minute, even if it takes more than a minute.
All right, Ryan, what do you have? I know there's a big date coming up here.
There's a big date. Oh, huge date coming up.
No.
And by the way, we are always the Video Game Minute powered by Wild Bill Soda. Notice that I am the mayor of Cream City since I am enjoying a vintage vanilla cream soda. By the way, if you haven't got your hands on one of these yet, what the fuck are you doing?
What's wrong with you?
Just go to Wild Bill Soda, punch in the promo code Ron Von D, get yourself some good ass pure cane sugar soda. Veteran owned and operated. This shit's the balls. And they just sent me a new sampler pack. I'm so excited about it. I drink it all the time.
Guys,
get yourself
swimming
some
in
Wild
soda
Bill.
for Christ's sake. And so should you.
I'm the mayor of Cream City. Gotta have my cream soda. Anyway, big week. So a week from Thursday, big drops. We have the PlayStation 5 is coming out, as well as the Xbox Series X, I believe, which I will not be buying for personal reasons. Not because I think it's bad or I think it's whatever.
No.
I have very practical reasons as to why I will not be buying an Xbox.
You can't buy everything.
One, you can't. I can buy one, right?
Everybody gets one.
Because we always get heat for like, oh, you guys doing like it. Xbox is fine. I concede Xbox is fine. The reason I'm not buying an Xbox, one,
because I'm not a fucking loser.
No, one, because I believe,
yeah,
and I think this is indisputable, that the exclusive games for PlayStation are far superior than the exclusive games for Xbox.
I've noticed that.
There's no question in my mind.
You should simply just say Spider-Man for you.
Spider-Man or God of War or Last of Us or Uncharted or the list goes on. It goes on and on and on.
I understand that it does. Yeah.
The specs are basically the same. The Xbox, I will concede, does have a little bit of a faster processor. That's fine. More teraflops. I know you like teraflops.
I am in on teraflops.
The games I do want to play on Xbox, I can play on PC. I already own a PC.
Okay. All right.
So the practical reason is it's nothing against Xbox. I just basically already have one.
Okay.
There you go.
You don't have to yell at us.
I'm not yelling at anybody.
You're yelling at us.
There's a new League of Legends game coming out called The Ruin King, which I guess is a turn-based. It's a turn-based RPG, which is kind of cool.
All right.
The lore of League of Legends is kind of cool. I might be checking that out. Let's see. Oh, speaking of Spider-Man and PlayStation 5, they just showed the new Miles Morales is getting the Spider-Verse suit.
Oh, awesome.
And one thing they did on PlayStation 5 that they couldn't do on PlayStation 4 is they actually animated it the way it looks in the movie. So it's got that choppy, like they don't do it like synchronously with the animation.
It's gonna be sick.
It looks amazing. Amazing.
I know.
We have Call of Duty Black Ops is now rumored on PC to take up 250 gigs on PC.
What are we doing here?
What are we doing? The game's not even that good. You're going to waste all those gigs. You know what I mean?
A lot of gigs.
The Oculus Quest 2 is coming out, despite PlayStation developers saying that that VR is not going to be a meaningful part of gaming in the near future. It's kind of a niche thing. I play Beat Saber still. I do all like Iron Man VR was kind of cool and whatever. But
yeah,
the Oculus Quest 2 is now available for pre-order. It's completely wireless. Now we're getting into wireless VR, which is what I've been waiting for.
That's what we need, so I can run around the house.
Exactly, and bump into stuff and whatever.
Yeah, right.
And for you PC people, you can buy now or pre-order the RTX 3070, which is the new GPU graphics card, which I probably will be doing at some point.
There you go.
But I got to buy a
a PlayStation 5 first. So All right.
before I upgrade the PC. We got to
All
do
right.
that. So that's pretty much. Oh, and Sony's PlayStation app is now awesome. They completely updated the app, and you can actually control your PlayStation 5 and work your settings on the app. So if you have that, make sure you get out there and do that. Just go ahead and do it.
Fucking do. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
Go ahead and do it. That's a good. Thank you, Ryan. That's a lot of good information there.
A lot of good information. And what was what was the Twin City Geeks?
Fairly informative.
Fairly informative. Okay, there we go.
Twin City Geeks said the Video Game Minute was fairly informative, and they weren't wrong. God bless them. Any pub's good pub.
Yep.
Ryan, you ready for the topic du jour?
I actually really fucking am. But you go ahead and tell the people what they are. Yeah.
You better be, because I barely know what this is. So you are going to explain everything. You got this new book, and we were talking last week. We're like, all right, Dorktober's over. All the horror movie stuff is over. What should we do? You know, Mandalorian's just starting. Fargo's not done yet. Oh, by the way, haven't mentioned Fargo much. Not the best season.
Slow. It's slow. I'm 3 episodes in, and it's very slow.
It is a slog. But anyway, so like, what should we do? And then you said, I have this book, which is what?
So this is actually not a book. It comes from a book, but it's a series.
Sorry.
It's a series of cards. Now,
even better.
Chuck Klosterman, who is one of my favorite authors, wrote a book called Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. Now, in that book is a lot of essays about pop culture and about music and about all these things. And one of the essays is called certain questions I ask people to find out if I can really love them. And those questions that he asks are contained in this stack, but these are 50 questions that he came up with. And I'll let the author, so this is what Chuck Klosterman said in the introductory card. This is what it says. Do you mind if I read it just to give people the back?
Please. Yeah.
All right. So it says, some people are extremely good at making small talk. These people are better known as idiots. That's how it starts. Now,
that hurts, because I was just thinking, I could small talk. And then, also an idiot. Damn.
These are the kinds of humans who can talk to a stranger for 40 minutes without learning anything essential about who that stranger is. They talk about the weather and about other people, and they mention what kind of car they drive and how old their children are. They have conversations in public that are ultimately no different than silence in an empty room. I refuse to be that kind of person. I refuse to make small talk. I refuse. I don't care what the situation is or what the protocol is supposed to be. I see no value in asking someone a friendly, non-adversarial question if neither party cares what the answer is. Instead, I prefer to ask questions where the solution is irrelevant. I pose hypothetical questions where how one answers the query matters far more than the literal conclusion. There is no right answer to these kinds of questions. The end never matters. What matters is how you get to the end. What matters is how you think, not what you think. This deck represents those questions. If these questions seem absurd or boorish or juvenile, that's totally fine. Don't read them and don't answer them. We don't need to be friends. We are not the same. But if you want to find out who other people really are, these are the conversations you need to have. And you need to have them now.
Oof.
Prepare to become more interesting. From Chuck Klosterman. Now,
all right, Chuck.
These questions, I did a little bit of this with Furloughed Friends because we were hit a bit of a lull, and I was like, all right, let's try these. All right, so I picked out. So these are.
A lull. We started talking about the weather,
right?
And
I'm like, you know what? I don't talk to these cats enough. We're gonna find out what's really going on in Nick and Lucy's head. So I broke them out, and it went very, very well. Now, one of the things that's always worked on this podcast is when you and I disagree.
Yes,
I think people
do like those episodes.
Hope that these are going to spur some sort of conversation. Now we're about a half hour into the podcast right now. We're going to do a handful of these things. There are 50. We're not going to get through all of them.
So if they're good, maybe we come back and do a volume 2. Yeah,
we do a volume 2. If you guys like this, but these are the types of questions that and I'm going to start with this one.
I have not seen any of these.
You have not seen any of these, and you have no idea what I'm going to ask.
No idea.
Here's this. This is called Super Gorilla. Okay? Follow me. Wait till I'm done, and then we can have the conversation. Genetic engineers at Johns Hopkins University announced that they have developed a so-called super gorilla. Though the animal cannot speak, it has a sign language lexicon of more than 12,000 words, an IQ of nearly 85, and most notable, a vague sense of self-awareness. Oddly, the creature, who weighs 700 pounds, becomes fascinated by football. The gorilla aspires to play the game at the highest level and quickly develops the rudimentary skills of a defensive end. ESPN analyst Tom Jackson speculates that this gorilla would be, quote, borderline unblockable and would likely average 6 sacks per game. Although Jackson concedes the beast might be susceptible to counters and misdirection plays. Meanwhile, the gorilla has made it clear that it would never intentionally injure another opponent. Here's the question. You are the commissioner of the NFL. Would you allow this gorilla to sign with the Oakland Raiders?
I wouldn't, and I hate to say, this is a phrase I don't like, Ryan.
Okay.
But my brain is so small that I'm going to be forced to use it. Slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope.
It's a bit of a slippery slope because what if all of a sudden there's a cheetah who can catch passes and he won't hurt anybody, but he can catch passes with his mouth and like he's unstoppable and he wants to play for the Jets. I'm not letting him play for the Jets. This gorilla wants to play for the Raiders. Now, one team has a 700-pound gorilla and everybody else is just playing with jack-offs. Not allowing it. Not allowing it.
Okay, now let me pose this question to you in the way I understand it. You are the commissioner of the NFL.
That's right.
Right?
That's
you are not
said.
The director of player safety.
No.
What is the commissioner of the NFL ultimately concerned about?
Money.
Fucking asses and seats.
Money.
If you tell people that the Oakland Raiders have a 700-pound gorilla on their team, you sell out every game, home and away, that Oakland plays that year.
Is football in jeopardy right now, though, of losing a ton of fans? I don't think so.
Right now, I don't know.
Well, nobody's going to the games.
No one's going to the games right now. You need to put asses in seats. Now,
I don't think you want a fucking gorilla because here's the other job of the commissioner is to make all of the owners happy. There are 32 owners in the league. One owner is going to be pumped because Harambe is playing DN for him. The other 31 owners are going to say, listen, I know that he told us in his sign language that he won't hurt the players. We can't trust him.
He's going to hurt somebody.
He's a 700-pound gorilla, for Christ's sake. I don't trust him.
See, here's the other thing, too. Don't you find it peculiar that the question is specific in signing with the Oakland Raiders?
Yes, I do. Because they're in Vegas now, so that you got to toss the question.
Okay, I got to toss the question. But with the Raiders, now, does that make sense? Is that on brand for the Raiders?
The Raiders would take, back in the Al Davis days, it's the just win baby era, and they would take anybody. They would just draft the fastest guys. They would commit a million penalties. They didn't care.
Exactly.
They didn't care.
That's very on brand for the Oakland Raiders.
Let me flip it a little bit for you. Real quick. Because you remember the episode of Luke Cage where Todd Bowles went and worked him out.
Do I ever remember that?
This was that question where could a superhero, if we were in the world, if the MCU was real or like the Boys was real, could a super powered person play professional sports?
Why would you want to? It'd be boring.
It would be, but you could make all of the money. Whatever the highest paid DN gets, or tight end, or wideout, or quarterback, or whatever.
And guess what, Rich? Guess what?
Yeah.
You don't have to pay the gorilla.
So that's another huge problem. The other owners will hate that. They'll be like, salary cap violation. You got to pay him something, and then you give him the minimum.
Or what if you just you could run a pop pass, and you don't have to worry about the gorilla.
I bet Drew Rosenhaus would be his agent. Drew Rosenhaus would come in and be like, I'll take him.
Who's the guy?
Bob Sugar.
Yeah, Bob Sugar. No, who's the guy? LeBron James.
Rich Paul.
Agent.
Rich Paul.
Is it Rich Paul?
His buddy.
I thought he had a guy who was like, it was his buddy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it like that.
All right.
You want to move on?
Are you saying yes?
I say absolutely yes, because ultimately, as the commissioner of the NFL, I'm worried about product. Think of the merchandising.
I think the other owners. I think there'd be like a player revolt.
Screw them.
Well, you need the player. You only got one gorilla.
Yeah, I
get 1,000.
Maybe you have a point.
You got 1,000 humans to worry about.
For once, I'm the short game. You're long game. I'm short game. Yeah. I want asses and seats for one season.
Listen.
And there's no guarantee that he's going to make the team. He's just probably on the. What if you just had the threat of the gorilla on the field?
Follow the money. Do you think
I'm Roger Goodell? I don't give a shit.
Do you think he would tuck his shirt in? Because if not, that's a fine.
that's a fine. Would you find shoes that fit him? There's a fine. Socks. Don't you have to wear the appropriate socks?
You gotta wear all the right stuff.
I think that's an issue.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you like to see a gorilla take a shot at Aaron Rodgers, though?
Yes, I would.
I don't know why Aaron Rodgers just popped into my head. I don't really like his face.
Nah, there's something off about that.
Something off. I don't like him. Now,
I think you're right.
Would you like to move on to the next one?
Yes, please.
That was a good spirited debate. That was a good start, right?
Good start. Hot start. Good question.
This is a good one. This is a good one for us. It's called A Life in Film.
Ooh.
For whatever reason, 2 unauthorized movies are made about your life. The first is an independently released documentary, primarily composed of interviews with people who know you and bootleg footage from your actual life. Critics are describing the documentary as brutally honest and relentlessly fair. Meanwhile, Columbia TriStar has produced a big-budget biopic of your life, casting major Hollywood stars as you and all of your acquaintances. Though the movie is based on actual events, screenwriters have taken some liberties with the facts. Critics are split on the artistic merits of this fictionalized account, but audiences love it. Which film would you be more interested in seeing?
Good question.
That is a very good question.
Another good question by Chuck Klosterman. Yep. Do you have an answer off the top of your head?
Off the top of my head, I would very much like to see the big budget version of my movie. And I'll tell you why. I'm at the stage in my life right now where I think everybody who I know is honest with me. I hope so.
I know I am.
You know you are.
Yep.
I think my wife is.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure my friends are.
Right.
I think I know how they feel about me. And I think I know if anybody is more aware of my flaws, I would love to see it because there is nobody more aware than I am. I don't need to see that movie. What I would love to see.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Is Bruce Valanche as me watching Bruce Valanche navigate my everyday life, or Kevin James. You know what I mean? Like I think
that might be the answer right there. Honestly, I might side with you depending on who the actor is.
Right.
If Michael B. Jordan's playing me, I'm going to watch it. If some jackass is playing me, I might go with the documentary. And the other reason is you said a lot of real life footage, and I'd be curious, like what real life footage?
They'd have to get it from me because I got all the tapes.
That's my point. Is like, is this like sneaky footage or what's going on? And I would be curious. Is this like what would you rather watch, or if you could only watch one? What was the question?
The question was, which film would you be more interested in seeing? So you can see them both.
So I would see them both. I think I might be more interested though in the straight up documentary because I'd be curious if they talk to the right people. And I bet there'd be one person where you're like, that fucking person doesn't know me that well. Why'd they talk to them? And then there'd be like two people that I'd be waiting for. And they'd be like, they didn't talk to Davey the whole time. They didn't like, how would they not get him? Like, I'd be curious because again, I had nothing to do with either movie. And I'd be curious for people who are like, hey, this is everything. This is all true stuff about him. Like, what stuff did they highlight? What stuff did they leave out? And maybe that's kind of narcissistic of me, but I think I would be interested in the like straight up version.
Yeah, CV, like I said, I think I have a good enough memory where I don't need that anymore. I would love to see fucking my life with explosions. You know what I mean?
Are cool. Yeah.
And maybe they let me make a cameo. Like they usually they do that when they do a biopic. Like they can have you make a cameo in your own movie.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Like, I wonder how risque some of the footage would be. Like, would it be sex stuff? Perhaps.
Like so maybe you get a producer credit and you can pick your own love interest. You know, who knows?
Okay. All right.
Now we're talking. See, like I think there's a little bit more freedom to be like, I this is how it went, but I wish it went this way.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like both films would be dull if it was,
ultimately it's not going to be great. But audiences are going to love the big budget one. So
you might be let down, but right, if you put enough crazy lights and skies and fireworks, then maybe people will watch the other one.
Because it says here that critics love the first one. They're mixed on the big budget one, but audiences love it.
Well, then that's all that matters. I mean, that's all
because what that describes to me is a comedy.
Yeah, it's a comedy or it's like an action type of thing or whatever. Right. Yeah.
So that's what I want to see.
Go on.
Yeah. Okay. This one is called The Porn Painter. You ready for this?
I am ready. Believe it or not, I'm
you need to have
ready.
the inside of your home painted. A thorough online search of available professional painters indicates that one candidate is especially ideal for your needs. He has earned high approval ratings from past employers and is relatively inexpensive. However, when you contact him by phone, he mentions one strange detail about his work habits. He insists on watching pornography while painting. Don't worry, I don't masturbate to it. It's just for entertainment, he says. But it's the only way I like to paint. This being the case, I will need to use your DVD player and view my personal collection of erotic films while I work. I may also use your cable service to purchase online or pay-per-view pornographic movies, but I will itemize any movies I watch and subtract them from the cost of my overall bill.
Okay.
Do you employ this pornography enthusiast as your house painter?
So he's just like a porn addict.
He just likes porn.
So I assume he'll be like fully hard while he's painting.
He won't masturbate to it. He just likes it. He just
I know,
he
but
likes it.
he's got to be pretty rock hard, I would imagine. Pretty stiff.
Like what's it? Like Lamplighter and The Boys. He just watches it.
Just watches porn like in the background.
Like in
so
the
he's
background.
he's a good painter. Now you know what my first question will be.
Yeah.
How much
What's
does
the
it
price?
cost? What's the
Now
price?
I think it says it suits. I think the thing says it's ideal for your needs. So
All
it's inexpensive. He's
So-
good.
If he claims he's not going to jack off, if
You're gonna jack off. Hope I don't jack off.
yeah, I hope you don't either, buddy. You should probably stop buying these movies. That might
know.
help. So I don't love the idea that he could just be buying a bunch of movies, but if he's going to pay it back,
He's gonna take it off his bill.
he's going to take it off his bill. And if he's as good as everybody says he is, and he does the job, I have no fucking problem with that. I have no
It's
problem
just
with
him
that.
too. He doesn't have like a crew. It's just him. He's efficient. He's good. He's in and out.
And I would just
You don't
make
even know he's
sure
there.
that my wife and daughter are never home when he's home. And
There you
other than that, what the fuck? Why not?
Why not? And then you get. I mean, I feel completely comfortable doing it. Now, people have their things. Like,
Yeah,
everyone has their thing. I'm not. I'm comfortable by it.
yeah,
I can't have a naked, sweaty man ass all over my home. I
yeah.
can.
Max, no. CT Rebel is a yes. You know, as long as the guy's affordable. If the guy's affordable, I don't care.
Guy's
if he's
affordable.
swinging
He does a
his
good
cock
job.
around.
He's highly rated on what's that thing they do? What's the
Yelp.
not Craigslist, but it's what's the Angie's List? He's up there.
He's up super high in Angie's List.
Super
Painting
high.
around. I can
And
use
you
a
have
coat
people
down
who've
here in the
used them before.
Dragon
And be like,
Lair.
yeah, it's weird, but like whatever. If I'm getting a good paint job for a relatively decent price, the fuck do I care if the guy
What
watches
else?
porn?
Well, here's the other thing. So if he says to me,
Mhm.
I need to be at your house from noon to 4.
Okay,
If I show up at 4, is he fully clothed, ready to go?
he's
Or is he-
leaving. He's out the
Is
door.
he still like super hard? And he's like, I don't know what to do with this. Hey, buddy, can you help me out?
I don't think he is hard. I think if you're a porn enthusiast, I don't think you're in it. It's not a sexual thing for
You
you.
just watch it soft.
Yeah.
Oh, for the story.
Or you just find it interesting. You just maybe it's an educational thing.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
it's just a comfort thing. Like
So
some
this,
is there
I
a
haven't seen this
show?
before.
Is there a show that you put on just to have it be white noise?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I've put on different things. It's usually not
It's not erotica
porno.
because
not
if my ears go up if I'm hearing those noises, those carnal noises, right?
Yeah, I can't focus as well. I wouldn't be able to paint a house, let's say.
No, I wouldn't, but
No,
maybe this guy.
But
is.
yes, so we agree on that one. I'm a yes.
And Mac brings up a good point too. Although maybe he could give you some recommendations. Be like, what's
Good.
if I'm into this,
Yeah.
this, and this?
Yeah.
What can you recommend?
Yeah. And it's interesting because he's obviously found a job that he's able to bring his habit to the workplace, but it must cut some of the potential jobs in half. Like, I don't think everybody would be on board.
No, I don't think it would be. But at the same time, like if he did it without it, he wouldn't do as good of a job.
No, that's true. Maybe it focuses.
If you're like, I'll hire you, but you can't watch porn, you might get a shitty paint job.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I'm in on it. I don't know if anyone else is with me here. I'm in on it.
I'll sign him up. I'll sign him
You'll
up.
sign him up?
Yep.
This is a good one. We're moving on because that one's a
Okay.
quick one. All right.
Yep.
This is called Shaquille in the shower.
It's actually the
come
guy
home-
that just painted. It's the guy who just painted your
It's
house.
the guy who just painted your house. No, it goes along those lines, but this one's good.
Okay.
You come home from an afternoon of shopping expecting your residence to be empty. However, upon entering your front door, you immediately sense that something is strange. The entire place smells like marijuana and roses. There is a briefcase sitting in the middle of your living room floor filled with diamonds and Christmas cookies. You hear the shower running, and when you open the door to the bathroom, you realize that the man using the shower is basketball legend Shaquille O'Neal. A naked Shaq peers at you from behind the shower curtain and smiles enthusiastically, but says nothing. He then returns to washing himself. When you ask O'Neal what he's doing in your home, he simply says, I don't remember. Do you call the police?
Ooh, first of all, let me say this. This is sort of a I don't know what this is, but when I was covering the Celtics, not
Sure.
to talk about myself, but
Brag.
when I was covering
Brag.
the Celtics,
Yep.
I had obviously was in close proximity to Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
That is, without a doubt, the biggest human person in the world. That guy is a monster. Because what's funny is when you're up close to a lot of basketball players, you realize just how like skinny they are. Like Kevin Garnett, Ray Allen, even Paul Pierce, who like some people are like, oh, he's like kind of chubbier. Like they're thin. Like they're just like, there's no fat on these guys. Then you see Shaquille O'Neal. It is if you saw him in your house and you weren't expecting him, you might fucking pass out. Like that would be so shocking. Guy is enormous. I don't even know if you'd fit in any of my showers that I have.
I think the biggest person I've ever seen in person is Vince Wilfork.
Yes. Oh, another monster of a man.
And I think Shaq is bigger than him.
Yeah, no, he definitely is because Vince is probably 6'2" or something. Shaq's 7 feet tall. It's just it's hard to put in. Like, think about your day-to-day job. Now, maybe some of our listeners happen to be really tall themselves, but if you see somebody who's like 6'6", just walking around, you're like, oh, that guy's fucking really tall. So now a half a foot taller than that, and then well over 300 pounds. That's what Shaq is. But the question is, would you call the cops? And if he is pleasant, if he's calm, and if he's by himself, no, I don't. I don't call the cop. I go, let's figure this out. Because first of all, it's Shaq. So I'd be like, all right, Shaq, you're in my house. Like, what's going on? No, I'm not gonna call the cops. Like, hey, Shaquille O'Neal here. Come arrest him. I'd be like, we'll figure this out, dude. I'm all for a story. You obviously had a time. You somehow got into my house. I don't know what the deal is. He's high as a kite. Taking a shower.
He's got Christmas cookies, so you know he's in a festive mood.
No, I'm not calling.
No one knows where the diamonds came from. You know what? If Shaq having a briefcase full of diamonds doesn't faze me, that guy is like,
no.
Isn't he? He's talking about buying Reebok right now.
Also, right. Do you know how much money Shaquille O'Neal is worth?
Exactly.
And
so like him having a briefcase full of diamonds, like I don't even balk at that.
And here's the other thing. Now, Shaquille O'Neal owes you a favor. That's a big favor to have. Or he might simply just pay you off and be like, dude, can we forget about this? Like, hey, can you not tell TMZ? I'm like, fine. And then he's like, he'd either write you a check, I bet, or he'd give you something or whatever. He's like, yeah, if you ever need anything, let me know. I'm like,
because he's also a sheriff.
He's a fucking sheriff too.
So
he's a sheriff.
My immediate reaction is like something's wrong with Shaq. Shaq has just had a psychotic break, right?
Mm-hmm.
My issue with calling the police is that shit might escalate in my house.
Yeah, you don't need that.
I don't need that. What I'm going to do, I'm going to talk to Shaq. I'm going to let him do is I'm going to let Shaq do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's a good idea. That's a good
look,
plan.
man, like just don't wreck my house. Do you need something to eat? Sit down and get you a cup of water or something.
Yes.
But like I'm not calling the cops on Shaq.
And I think if you called the cops, like almost on anyone, I mean, I guess depending on what it is, I just feel like if it's it, and Shaq sees you in this scenario too.
Yeah.
So what, the cops are going to show up in 1 second, or you get a little bit of time to kill as the person, in this case Shaq, knows that you just called the police on him. Do you think they're more likely to run away or beat the shit out of you?
Maybe both. Maybe beat the shit out of you and then run away.
Then the cops show up and they're like, what happened? You're like, I'm
going to tell you what happened.
I'm lying in my own blood and piss because you guys didn't get here quick enough. Yeah, I'm good with it. I let I let him finish his shower and we figure it out later.
Kind of dig it.
Yeah.
Kind of dig that answer.
Yep,
just leave Shaq be.
Yes.
He's doing anything. He's showering. First of all, I don't think he would fit in my shower. I think he has like a special shower.
That would be a tough squeeze, I think, in my shower.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. This is called Office Politics.
Love it.
Love it. You work in an office.
Okay.
Generally, you are popular with your coworkers.
Sounds right.
Not true for me. However, you discovered that there are currently two rumors circulating of the office gossip mill, and both involve you.
Oof.
The first rumor is that you got drunk at the office holiday party and had sex with one of your married coworkers. This rumor is completely true, but most people don't believe it. The second rumor is that you've been stealing hundreds of dollars of office supplies and then selling them to cover a gambling debt. This rumor is completely false, but virtually everyone assumes it's true. Which of these two rumors is more troubling to you?
Oh, wait. This is like me? So like I'm also married?
Yes.
Oh, well, I already fucked up myself then. If in this case I've already cheated, but nobody thinks that I did, but they're just kicking that around.
Yeah.
But I am married, and the other one is that I'm stealing shit, but I didn't steal shit.
Right.
Well, I get so this would never happen.
Of course not.
I'm a monotonous.
This is all that's hypothetical. This is all hypothetical.
Yeah, I would be more pissed off about the one that isn't true because I obviously the one that is true is something that I did in this scenario, and it doesn't seem like people are really buying into it anyway. So like maybe somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I heard about this," and then I could easily be like, "Nah," and they'd be like, "Yeah, no, I guess not." Whereas the other one, that's kind of fucked up. So I'd be more upset about the one that's not true.
I would be more upset about that too, but for a different reason. Because I think if people like heard that or if I did hypothetically, if I did bang a coworker, right?
No.
And someone said that and it got back to me, I'd be like, where did you hear that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd be like, well, I know it's not true. But like, you're right. It's not true. Now, the second one, the gambling debt that I'm stealing stuff, I can prove that that's not true.
How?
Because I could, like, I have bank state. I could go to, okay, what bookie
where
am I booking these bets?
Okay.
Show me.
Oh, like
show me the receipt.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm not placing bets on anything.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's true too. Because then I could just say to anybody who believes it, it'd be like, "Have any of you seen me steal anything?"
Or like, is anything missing?
Right. Yeah,
like,
that's true.
You can prove that. Like, I don't have office supplies.
What if this though? What if somebody else is stealing and that person's getting away with it and they're pinning it on you?
Be like, it's not me. Like and again, if I'm doing it to cover gambling, show me the receipts. Show me where I place these bets because I'm not.
Well, what about this one? Only one of those things, according to Rebel, says could get you fired.
Where does he work that he can bang coworkers and not get fired?
I don't think you get fired for that. I think it's
yeah, you do.
Oh, you can.
You could. Yeah, you.
Not everywhere.
Yeah, not everywhere. But
I think it depends on how messy it gets.
Right, and I think in my situation, you're gone.
Yeah, you can't do that there.
You can't do that.
No. That's a place you can't do it. I think other places, I think you could probably get away with it. But
are there people that kind of like sweep it under the rug, though? I mean, it's like I don't know. I don't want to
anyway. All right, let's do one more.
One more. Okay.
Yeah, one or two.
All right, this is my favorite one. I'm going to read you my favorite one. Okay. Let us assume that you. I know you love this. It's called the Rudimentary Magician. Okay.
Yep.
I saved this one for last.
Okay.
Let us assume that you meet a rudimentary magician. Let us also assume that he can do 5 simple tricks. He can pull a rabbit out of his hat. He can make a coin disappear. He can turn the ace of spades into the joker card. And he can do 2 other tricks in the similar vein. These are his only tricks, and he can't learn any more. However, it turns out that he's doing these 5 tricks with real magic. It's not an illusion. He can actually conjure a bunny out of the ether. He can move a coin through time and space. He is legitimately magical, but extremely limited in scope and influence. Would this person be more impressive than Albert Einstein?
To me, yes.
Why?
Illusions are more impressive than Albert Einstein to me. But this guy has real magic.
Real magic.
I'm curious about the other 2. That could really sway it. The 2 tricks that we don't know, that could really be a game changer.
So if he can make something appear like behind your ear, but it's real. Like there's nothing there.
Fucking crazy though. Because even if it's like because first of all, it's like, all right, where's that coin going? So he's making a coin disappear. That's insane. Like that is real. And he's pulling bunnies out. Not that we need more and more bunnies.
We don't.
But we don't need all these bunnies. But he can do that. That's crazy. And I've always thought if you're really, really good at one thing, you can do pretty well for yourself. You don't need to be like okay at a lot of things. It doesn't. So think about that. Like if there's a magician, and I guess the Albert Einstein thing is a little bit different, but like if a magician has 1,000 tricks, but they're all like C+, B- tricks, or you have one guy who does 5 A+ tricks, that guy's way more impressive.
And I agree with you, and again, but for different reasons.
Yes.
My reason is, yes, I do think that guy is more impressive. And the reason I believe that is because everything that Albert Einstein theorized was having to do with time and space and the speed of light and all of these things and possibly the ramifications of time travel and whatever.
Oh, yes.
This guy is putting those into practice. He's actually doing it.
Yeah.
So like moving things through time and space, wormholes and all that stuff that like the theoretical physics that like Einstein had his head around, but never actually did it.
Yeah,
This guy's doing it.
that is true. That's a good point.
And it's more impressive because he is now the conduit by which you learn how to do other things with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's not magic, it's science. And it's not theory, it's something that somebody can do.
Oof, I
And
love
all it takes, like anything in life, I firmly believe that all it takes is like the belief you see someone do something and you're like, that can be done now. Now I can do something else. So it's going to force magic into the world, which I've been dying for.
I really need that to happen.
Like real magic.
I love magic so much. I
know
love
you
it.
do.
And I love a simple card trick. I love it.
I have 2 card tricks that I know. That's it.
Have you done them for me?
I don't think so.
That needs to happen.
Okay, that needs to happen. All right.
That needs to happen at some point. Now, are these tricks that can be done on video or they need to be done in person?
It needs to be done in person.
Yeah, okay. All right, we'll figure it out. We'll
Figure it out. Yeah.
We'll do it. Good stuff. I like that.
That's
that
good,
game.
right? And
Yeah.
like think, we only did like 6.
I know. But they're good conversations and we're not simpletons, so we can expand on them.
Okay, one more. And then one more and then we're done.
Okay.
I promise. This is a quick one.
Good.
Your best friend is taking a nap on the floor in your living room. Suddenly, you are faced with a bizarre existential problem. He or she is going to die unless you kick your slumbering friend as hard as you can in the rib cage. If you don't do this, he or she will never wake up. However, you can never explain your actions. If you later inform your friend that you did this to save his or her life, they'll die from that. So, you have to kick your sleeping friend in the ribs, and you can't explain why. Since you cannot tell your friend the truth, what excuse do you fabricate to explain this seemingly inexplicable attack?
Oh my God. First of all, you definitely do it. That's not even a debate.
It's not even a debate.
And then I would just say, I would scream goal, like goal.
Go! Yeah.
Or I would say you were snoring, or I would say like, "Ha, gotcha, bitch." Like I would just like, and I don't think any of my friends, like if I did that to you
If
or
you
Sharky,
kicked me in the ribs when I was sleeping, I'd be like, "What the fuck?" And you'd be like, "Fuck you," and you're like,
Yeah,
run away because
got
you're
you.
faster than me. Yeah.
and then we wouldn't talk about it ever again.
No, I'd be like, "I'm gonna." And then the next time you were asleep, I'd
You'd
like,
kick me.
I'd
and I'd be
smear
like,
shit on your face like CKY2K,
I'd be like, I fucking saved your life, and then boom, you die.
and then I die right there. I was like, all you had to do was be like, if I come at you hard, be like, I saved your life, and then I die right in front of you.
I think that was no problem. You can come up with a bunch of stuff. I think for us it's a little bit different because we grew up in the jackass generation where
And I just assumed,
I'm like, dude, you should have been sleeping on my floor. Like,
Yeah, you
oh
never
man,
fall asleep.
I'm sorry. I thought you said kick you. You were screaming in your sleep, kick me in the chest, and then I did.
I would never ever be the first person never the first person to fall asleep.
No,
You're
definitely
just
not.
asking for it at that point. And I'm almost 40 years old, and I don't go in the bathroom with the lights off.
Smart,
And I'm never the first person to fall asleep at a sleepover.
smart man, right there.
Adult sleepovers.
Right, because you're having so many sleepovers
I'm having so
now.
many adult sleepovers in my life
Yeah.
right now. I'm isolated and weird, and no one comes to my house.
No, you're not allowed to though. You got to follow the protocols. You're doing
Yeah.
right. Well, Ryan,
I think I
like
would
that.
tell somebody that like I was running to take a shit and tripped. Like they were in the middle of the floor, and I was running and tripped over them.
I think especially if they are sleeping on your floor, it's so easy. But if you like woke up and somebody came to you and like say you were in like a guest bedroom,
Yep.
and they were like, you need to run in there and kick him in the chest while he and his wife are asleep. You need to go do that. That would be harder to explain.
It would be very hard to explain.
But you would
But it
still
doesn't
do
matter
it.
it doesn't matter what the lie is, as long as you just never tell them
Yeah.
that you did it to save their life.
I'll be like, you know what? Like fucking another friend of ours dared me to do it.
I was sleepwalking. Oh yeah, or like blame it on me, and
Yeah.
you would tell me and be like, "Hey, just so you know, like I'm
Dude, I
lying,
couldn't
but,
like, and I'd be like,
just
yeah.
go with it."
I had a fucking dream that I kicked you in the chest. That wasn't a dream. And you're like, you fucking kicked me in the chest and it hurts.
Or like it was like, "Oh shit, I'm sleepwalking." Yeah.
Here I am. I woke up. Don't wake me up. All right.
There
Good
you
stuff,
go.
Brian. I love it. Good stuff. I think we could definitely do another episode of that. That was
Yeah.
fun. Here we go. Let's get to the next portion of the program.
Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb. Pick of the bomb.
Pick of the bomb.
Would you like to kick, receive, defer, or defend a goal?
I shall receive it.
All right. What do you
This
have?
I watched the first episode. This is on Hulu, so you're gonna roll your eyes at me. But the Marvel show Hellstrom.
How is that?
Quite good. It has
shit.
as with buying a house, someone would say it has good bones.
Okay.
So you have a brother and sister, kind of like a Constantine vibe. So they are. I never read the comic, so this
Me
is
either.
all new to me. So it's a brother and sister team. Their mother is possessed by a demon, and their father was a serial killer, and they have supernatural abilities.
Sounds pretty good.
A la John Constantine. So like you have.
Oh, nice.
And the story is that like the father was a serial killer and kidnapped the daughter and took her with him on like his killing spree.
Okay.
And the son was stuck with the mother who was possessed by a demon.
Jesus.
So it's
that
like
does sound pretty good.
It like I said, it has elements of like Fringe and X-Files.
How many episodes is it? Do you know?
They're all streaming right now. I don't know, but it's like 10 or 12, and they're about an hour long. But I watched the first episode, and there's some really cool characters and some like there's Latin. They speak in Latin, which is great.
Love that.
So I love it. So
Yep.
Again, I'm not really endorsing this show so much as like I watched the first episode, I really liked it, and there's bones there. That's all I know.
Cool.
Literally and figuratively.
I like that very much. Ryan, I have a movie that I liked very much, and then I have a TV show that I finished and I hated. But it's not really a pick of the podcast, but I mentioned it before, so I need to clarify.
Yes.
The Haunting of Bly Manor is a horrible, horrible waste of time show. Please don't watch it. If you started it, stop, get out. It's trash. Wasn't scary, wasn't good. It wasn't a slow burn. It was just a slog, and I hated it. I watched all 9 episodes. It's 9 hours of my life gone. And when I'm on my deathbed and they say, "Hey, Keefe, did you have any regrets?" I'm going to say, "Yeah, I watched all of The Haunting of Bly Manor."
I came in and Rye the girl was watching episode 2 of Bly Manor, and I said, "Are you watching Bly Manor without me?" And she said, "Oh, I didn't know. It was like a watch together show." And I was like, "All right." And I went, in my mind, "All right, fuck it. I guess I'm not watching that." I'm glad I didn't.
Stinks. And the problem is it's like an anthology series or whatever with Hill House. Hill House was good. We did an episode on Hill House. Hill House at times was slow, but Hill House was fucking scary. I still think about Hill House sometimes. This wasn't scary or good. Like nothing about it did I like. I hated it.
Nothing about it did I like.
So I mentioned it a while ago on the pick of the pod, and that was back when I think I was about to start it, or maybe I would like watch one episode.
Yep.
And so that was a misfire. So take that one back. Do not watch that.
Can we rescind picks of the pod? Is that a thing now?
I think we should.
I like that.
Because sometimes we do picks where we're like, "Oh, I assume I'm going to like this," and here it is. So,
So Hellstrom might be that. I mean, it might come down to that.
Good
but
point.
I'm on board right now saying like the first episode was intriguing.
I took Bly Manor back. Oh, the other thing is me and my wife, we started Unsolved Mysteries Volume 2.
Electric Boogaloo?
We jumped in. We didn't watch the first episode, though. We jumped to a different episode, the one from Japan. We ended up turning it off. It was not very good.
Okay.
So I've heard all bad things about this season, so I don't know if I'm going to watch it. But the movie I liked very much, actually a Hulu show, Ryan. Palm Springs. Finally saw
Loved it, right?
Loved it.
It was great.
Loved it. I love Sandberg anyway, so it was only a matter of time till I saw this, but it's the Groundhog Day thing. But like I like that. Like I was a big Happy Death Day fan. Like I know it's not an original idea, but I'm good with the Groundhog Day thing. Like if you do, as long as you do like a little bit of a twist to it or do it in your own way. And this one was good. I was fully engaged the whole time.
I liked them together. I like him and the actress like worked well together, and it was what a fun idea to like get stuck in a loop on the day of a wedding. Like, what would you do? Like, what would you try to get away with?
Yeah,
like when people are like drinking and like being idiots. Like, it's the perfect day to like relive over and over again.
An amazing event to be at.
Yeah,
over and over again.
Like how he starts the day, like in the pool. Like I would start that way. Have a beer in the pool,
Bloody Mary, beer, whatever it might be,
whatever, and just like.
And
it would be fun for a while, and then I would go rogue a little bit.
Well, then it would be bad. But yeah, you could chat up a couple bridesmaids, perhaps. Maybe steal a smooch.
But I thought that J.K. Simmons was excellent in the movie as well.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He definitely was. All right, Ryan, Mandalorian. Let's do a little bit of quick little Mandalorian thing because
I forgot all about this until
just real
now.
quick.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't have to play the whole thing, but we don't have to spend a lot of time here. But episode 1 was called The Marshal, and Timothy Oliphant is in this episode playing the same character that he plays in every single thing that he's in, including this season of Fargo. He's playing the same character again. So the 2 shows that I'm currently watching, same actor playing the same character. But what was badass about this is he is wearing the Boba Fett armor.
Now, did you see him walk in? It's ill-fitting, and I think that's done on purpose, that it doesn't really fit him.
Yeah.
And he takes the helmet off and puts it on the table, and I look at Timothy Oliphant's handsome face, and I said out loud in a room of nobody but me, I go, take that fucking thing off right now.
Yep.
Take it off.
Was with you. Well, it was
I was
funny
like, you're not him. Take it the fuck off.
Well, you definitely, you're right. Though, as soon as you see him enter the little bar,
you're like, that
no,
doesn't
you're not look like a Mandalorian. First of all, it's not Boba Fett, but it's not even another Mandalorian. And the whole idea is that Mando goes there trying to connect with another Mandalorian so he can find Baby Yoda, his people.
Mm-hmm.
And so then he sees them and you're like, what is this guy? He looks like a kid in a Halloween costume.
Right.
Then he pops the head off and he's like, I need that suit. But then they work together. So
yeah.
Here's the thing about this episode. It's the people who like the show, like you and me, I think are going to like this episode. The people who don't overall like the series are going to have a problem because we just saw in the finale, like the Darksaber stuff and like, oh shit, like here comes Giancarlo Esposito and all this stuff. And then this is like a side mission. And I like that about Star Wars and some of the stories, whether it be like comic books or Clone Wars or other stuff. Like I'm good with side missions. Like we'll get to the Darksaber and we'll get to like where they are in like the greater scheme, the bigger world of it. I had no problem with this episode being like Dune and let's go take care of this sand dragon.
Tremors. Yeah. Tremors. No, for me, it was like I didn't mind it because you needed to get back into the world. Now I think of when I think of episodes, I think of like comic book issues, right? And there's always that one. If you read a collection of like a trade of comic books, there's always one that kind of goes off a little bit, right? There's always that side story. It's never really first, but I think I forget who was saying in the group chat. I think a lot of this is like it's meant to be taken as kind of like a whole. So don't get so fixated on one episode. And I get the gripe that you said it's a side mission. It doesn't really further the overall plot. It did a little bit in that he's looking for more Mandalorians now. Like that's going to be the kind of the theme of this is that he's not only is he searching for the child's people, but he's also searching for his own people.
Right.
So he needs to find his people to get him. So there's that sense of community, sense of family that these like gunslingers kind of have, but not really.
And I just think, again, I liked it. It's also because they're releasing it one at a time and it's not bingeable that people are like, oh, where's Ahsoka Tano? Where is Sasha Banks? Where is the Darksaber? What is Giancarlo Esposito's guy's name? It's like Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon. Like where? So you don't have those guys. So people are a little bit annoyed. But I think once the whole season is played out, I think it'll be fine. Like I think it'll be good. Like I liked season 1 a lot. This was kind of more of that. A good start. How about the one character, the dude with the one eye, the Cyclops, voiced by John Leguizamo?
Was that him?
That was John Leguizamo's voice. Yeah. Kind of funny. I don't know where they were though. Do you know where they were? So
Tatooine. Before that, I don't know.
Before he went to Tatooine, I couldn't figure out where he was. And so then lastly, the big reveal at the end, is that Boba Fett or is that Captain Rex?
That's the thing. It could be, and that's the beautiful thing about the clones.
Else.
It could be any of them.
I love how they got the same actor though from the prequels.
But I want it to be Boba. I do want it to be him. And I want the explanation to be like, I was in a Sarlacc pit and left for dead and the fucking Jawas came and stole my armor. Because he's all scarred up. He looks a little mangled.
Shit.
He's a little dinged up.
I think I would be good with him being alive too, because he's a guy that deserves a little bit better. He's very overrated if you look at just what he's done. We've talked about that a lot.
And that's been the knock on him.
Yeah.
He's not, when you see him in Return of the Jedi, he's not very good at what he does.
No, he looks sick. It's the coolest armor,
Yeah.
but he kind of stinks, and then like he's just presumed dead. I also love the line in there where they're like, it's like an abandoned Sarlacc pit, and they're like, there are no abandoned Sarlacc pits. They're like, yeah, if you eat the Sarlacc. And so like
Yeah.
that's how big this fucking dragon, this sand dragon thing was.
And one of the coolest things I read too is they actually had deaf actors play the sand people, so they're actually doing some sign language.
Oh, really? Interesting.
So that's actually so that was actually a really cool thing.
I like the
and
sand.
inclusive
I
thing
like
that
the
they did.
sand people.
And how about us rooting for the sand people?
I know.
You know?
Twist.
One thing that I didn't like though, you didn't see them walk single file because that's what they do to hide their numbers.
Yeah, good point. They didn't do
But
that.
they did do the.
Yeah, they're celebrating.
By the way,
And
that was the Tuscan Raiders was with a Raiders logo was one of my former fantasy football team names.
That was for a while until I think Los Pollos Hermanos took over.
That's right.
Pretty good, but overall, I like the episode. Again, people who didn't like it, I kind of understand it, but then I think, all right, you just don't really like the show that much. That's fine.
Or you just don't like Star Wars, or you don't enjoy fun
Or good stuff.
or good,
Like awesome.
wholesome. You know what? Everything's
Awesome.
miserable right now, so just enjoy something for once.
We will do a standalone at the very end of this, and we will probably do this same thing where we hit it very beginning at the episodes and then a little bit more at the end.
So I would like to close this episode right now by saying thank you to all of the people who have already donated to Movember. I'm going to be doing this all month. Get used to it. So names that are I'm looking at Jordan Roy, Bubbles, Mac.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm looking at Billy D, Dr. Joe.
Awesome.
I'm looking at, there's a couple big ones coming here. Jeff Dwight, $250 to Movember right now. We've been doing this a day, literally 24 hours, and we've almost raised $1,000. Phil Burns, Joe Gilmore, Mike Baranowski, Jared Cantal. You guys, thank you so much for your support with Movember. And I would like to close with two things. One, tomorrow night, the kid's back on Twitch. So we're gonna be twitching. I don't know what we're gonna be playing yet. I haven't decided yet, but I know I'm gonna be back tomorrow night. And if you guys want to take part in Movember yourselves, I have created a team for the Dork Shared Gooniverse. If you guys are looking to get involved, if you're looking to raise money for this very worthy charity, please reach out via Twitter, via Facebook, via Twitch, whatever. And I'll put you guys on the team and we can raise and hit our goal together. So
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Yeah, so definitely check out Davey on Twitter at RVonD and go to his Twitch page, and you can subscribe right now, twitch.tv/RVonD, and you'll know when he goes live and all of that stuff. So it sounds like Tuesday night. If you're listening to this here on a Tuesday, tonight, Davey's going live. You can rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and just about everywhere else podcasts are available. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Dork Podcast. We stream the episodes on YouTube on Monday nights. You can go to youtube.com/Dork Podcast. Subscribe to us there as well. We're a part of a Facebook group. You can go to just type in #Dork Gooniverse, and you can find out what we're doing. Mac and Goo, Pop Culture Pile Driver, Change My Mind Pod, Furlough Friends, Shime, and Dr. Joe, and of course Davey on Twitch as well. Next week, as we came up with it today, we're going to do the 25 essential #Dork films. So if you're going to hang out with me and Davey, you need to watch these 25 movies. That is what we're going to do next week. That'll do it. Thanks for listening to this episode. And before we depart, Ryan, do you know what they say about wombats?
I'm told I hear tales of square buttholes.
Cubed poop.